turn it over to Mr. Jim Coyne. Jim, you want to come forward here?
Thank you all today for inviting Assist Communities to speak before the City Council. Thank you, Mr. Mayor, and the rest of the councilmen and women. Assist has been around for over 5 years, but really we're just finally getting to the point of defining ourselves.
My name is Bethany Friedrichsen, and I am the database and content coordinator for relink.org, a project that was started in Summit County in September 2017 with the goal of connecting people to addiction recovery as well as reentry resources. Our founder and CEO, Ray Dalton, had a family member who struggled with an opioid addiction. And he just saw what it was like for his family, well-educated and a lot of connections, and they still couldn't find a place to take him. They didn't know where to go for resources for them. And it really was seen as not just an isolated situation, but a lot of families struggling with this. So that's why we started relink.org. In 2017, we have a full range of services listed on our site across the continuum of care, so not just treatment and housing, but also food services, homeless shelters, second chance employers, kind of anything a person might need across that path, you know, when they're done with treatment, what do they need next? It's kind of what our goal was, is to put someone 3 clicks away from finding those services for their family or a case manager trying to find something for their client. So we are statewide currently. We have at least one organization listed on our site in every county in the state. We have about 2,500 organizations currently listed, and we're growing very rapidly. We hope to be completely done with the state, well, 90%, you know, things are always changing, by the beginning of 2019. So we really just want to help as many people in need as we can and foster collaboration, whether that's through an online space or in the communities as well. Thank you.
Thank you.
We do. We start as soon as kids walk in the door, talking about choices they make. And everything is age appropriate from kindergarten on up. So we could sit and talk for a long time about different programs. We've got a very good relationship with the Cotta Way. We have counselors in the school. Given that, it really is never enough. I am talked to parents a lot about, Bob, I hear we've got a drug and alcohol problem in the schools, in the high school. Those parents are usually parents that have a 5th or 6th grader, and it's their oldest child. And they're always sort of startled when my response is, yes, we do. Every school in the United States of America has an issue with drugs and alcohol. It's our culture. Our kids, know about Bud Light, before they know about a lot of other things because they're watching athletic commercials, athletic events with commercials on it. So we start early and we start often, and we know we've got another group coming up. When we did baccalaureate this year, I made a comment that, I was sort of stunned when our graduating kindergarten class is going to graduate from high school in 2030. Mm-hmm. And we're starting that process with them, making good choices, age-appropriate pieces. And then we keep working with our counselors. Like after our last meeting, Natalie Fior went back and did a check of what our counselors are doing, how often they're seeing kids, the programs that we have in place. And we're at a good spot. But we also know that we need to get to another spot every year. Some of the things, of course, the SRO officer we added last week, the council voted on it last week, the school board voted on it last Tuesday. I've already seen the beginning pieces of what that person is going to look like. We've also added a social worker at Avon Lake City Schools, a full-time one, that we're going to put another link in place to work on these kinds of issues, because you just don't know.
Our second work session this evening deals with the Charter Review Commission.
Thank you, Mr. O'Donnell and Council and Mr. Mayor. So the first one has to do with the Section 15A, providing for an acting mayor in the event of the absence of the mayor, one of the things that we found on the commission is that we didn't have, that we were not addressing in 15 and 15A of the charter, the temporary absence of the mayor. The issue is there if the absence was extended, so 60 days. And again, there was a lot of back and forth on the number of days, also whether to include, continuous 60 days. And in the charter, the sort of pecking order of, replacing the mayor on a temporary basis, where it starts as the president of council, then the senior most at-large person, and then the senior most ward people. I think I said that right.
My question then is, absent or inaccessible. Did you guys have a discussion on what exactly that means?
We did. We had a lot of discussion.
'Cause it's up to interpretation. Inaccessible, absent.
Yeah, and part of it, we were back and forth on that a lot and had a lot of input from even folks in this room. A lot of it, our biggest consideration would be, you're thinking generally a very serious medical situation. The next one, probably spent the most time on this, and this is regarding the competitive bidding and quotes that on certain items currently in the charter, over $25,000 has to go out to the competitive bidding and quotes and that whole process. There's what we're looking at here is going with the standard of the Ohio Revised Code, which currently is sort of the same thing, but it's 50,000.
I would be in favor of this proposal going forward. Understand that these expenditures still have to be included in the appropriations, still were reviewed by council relative to a budget process. And so we're not looking to circumvent any of that area whatsoever. We're looking to make it more efficient in the procurement of goods and services for the city.